Okay, so this is not a video that I really want to make, and it's a video that I'm not going to attach fan art to because of what the subject matter is. But for those who don't know, Keffals, who I've only really made one video on because there's really only a couple of things that she said that I disagree with. For the most part, I think that she's a really good person and a really good streamer. But recently, something happened with her that I think needs to be talked about. She put up a video on her channel, and the video is titled, "My Life is in Danger, I Need Your Help." I figured the best thing I can do is play the video over here, comment on it only a little bit. That way there's at least that signal boost. I'm going to try my best not to treat this as the drama of the day, because for a lot of people, that's what they would end up doing with this. I'm going to try to do a little better with that. But, here.
On August 5th, I was woken up by London Police Services, pointing an assault rifle in my face at my home. I was told later that at 6 a.m. that morning, an email impersonating me was sent to every city councillor in the City of London, Ontario, stating that I have an illegal firearm, that I killed my mother, and that I plan to go to City Hall and shoot every cisgender person I see. I was shown the email while I was being interrogated in police custody.
So that's fucked up. Can I just say that? Just in general? The idea that somebody not only can impersonate you, which is bad enough, but impersonates you and then, as you, tries to go and fucking ruin your life. In any way, shape, or form, but especially a way that can get you killed.
While the emails were riddled with grammatical errors and read more like something a troll would say than something I would sincerely say, the police took it seriously. Not only that, the email said my name was Clara Sorrenti, but also stated what my dead name was. It was an obvious attempt to make the police humiliate me.
Now, the only reason that people even know Keffals' dead name is because there was a doxing document that was shared around. And it has to be said, there were people who both had it out for Keffals sharing it, and there were people who were being good faith and sharing it and not realizing the gravity of what they were magnifying until later. So was Kiwi Farms involved in that? I am not 100% certain. But if they are, then, I mean, that's another wonderful argument for nuking that entire website off the face of the earth. But there was a doxing attempt on Keffals, and it was successful, and it spread in a fuck tons of places. There were people who spread it accidentally, and there were people who spread it maliciously. The intent right now doesn't necessarily matter. What matters is the end result. The end result is the dox has led to Keffals being swatted.
During the arrest, the police officer referred to me by my dead name. I was booked in the station under my dead name. The police, when talking to my mother, referred to me as her son. This is despite the fact that I have run as both a member of parliament and a member of provincial parliament under my name, Clara Sorrenti. The fact that a fake email led to London Police Services booking me under my dead name reveals the prejudice that many police have towards transgender people. This is despite the fact that the email contained my real name before ever even mentioning my dead name.
That's also really fucked up. The idea alone that not only is the SWAT happening, but also you are constantly trying to traumatize a person. Because that's what dead naming does. It traumatizes someone. There's a reason that dead names are left behind. It is a part of a past of a person, and for some people, they don't even consider that name their name. Like, they don't consider the person they were to even resemble them in the slightest. Don't dead name, okay? It should be an obvious thing.
This is one of the property bags returned to me after I was released from custody. All of the property bags returned to me have Roberts written on them. Roberts was my last name until I legally changed my name first to Kaylee Sorrenti on January 25th, 2012, and then later to Clara Sorrenti on March 7, 2018. When I changed my name, I took my mother's maiden name. My last name has not been Roberts in over 10 years. The only reason that Roberts is on the property bags is because I was booked under my dead name. A search warrant was issued, which I have a copy of here. They were looking for a handgun, ammunition, cartridges, cleaning tools, a gun case, cell phones, and computers. They seized both my personal and work phone, as well as the work computer that I broadcast on Twitch from. Not only that, but the police seized my fiance's cell phones and laptop, as well as their external drive, which contained the only copy of their PhD thesis and other important university documents. Because of the negligence of the police, we were both left functionally unemployed, and I have spent thousands of dollars replacing our computers and cell phones so our lives aren't completely destroyed by what happened to us. After the police interrogated me and realized this is a situation that has happened to me before, I was released with no charges.
So I want to stop for just a second and say this is a thing, not to this degree, but this is a similar thing to what I experienced when my car got impounded. I needed it to get to work. I couldn't use it to get to work. I had to spend thousands of dollars getting it out of impound, getting it reinsured, getting everything taken care of. Because the police don't actually help you or society when they are impounding you and doing this shit. It's just fucking punishing. That's all it is. It is purely punishing for no actual benefit. And then you end up having to dig yourself out of a financial hole. Baba, come on, stop, hun, stop. Baba turned on my starting screen. Okay, that means you might actually hit the recording button. You gotta go, hun. For anybody who's ever had the experience, and it's, again, mine is nowhere near what Keffals is going through. I've not been swatted. I hope that I never actually have that experience. But when the police pull you in, arrest you, do stuff like that, and it's for something either incredibly trivial or in this case for something that wasn't even true, that's not helping society. That's not protecting and serving. That's just keeping people under a heel. That's it. It's fucked up, and it's a thing that I think needs to change in any police system that is functional. But unfortunately, the Canadian system and the American system both have this problem.
Without my devices, I could not let people close to me know what had happened to me, and they were in the dark for hours. Even after acquiring a new phone, I still cannot log into some of my accounts because the London Police Service holds the phone that my two-factor authentication goes to. This same situation happened just over a week ago, on Sunday, July 31st, in a city I don't live in, Toronto. On that day, I talked to Sergeant Nathan Gibson after someone impersonating me made similar threats to Toronto politicians. Sergeant Gibson chalked it up to a swatting attempt. I was not charged with a crime, nor was I named as a suspect in an investigation by the Toronto police.
So this isn't the first time this shit has happened to Keffals. Why did that move it?
London Police Services should have been aware that this could happen. In fact, my brother called London Police Services on March 27th in a conversation lasting 9 minutes and 16 seconds to see if my family could be put on a no swatting list, only to be treated like we were wearing tinfoil hats and completely dismissed. They told my brother things would be fine. They were wrong. Despite getting a search warrant to search my home and finding no guns, as well as my mother alive and well, I am still a suspect in the investigation by London Police Services. My devices, including my fiance's hard drive that contains all of their important PhD-related documents, will not be returned to us before digital forensics analyzes them. This is a process my lawyer advised me could take months. Swatting is a crime. Identity theft is a crime. And because it was a crime that was motivated by hatred against transgender people, it was a hate crime perpetrated against me. Instead of the police helping me, they terrorized me and my loved ones, traumatizing me and leaving my fiance and I on the verge of losing everything. They victimized me for being the victim of a hate crime. I need your help because I can't do this alone. I started a GoFundMe to move immediately, recoup my losses, and build a legal fund to protect my rights. I have been subject to emotional damages, financial damages, blatant violations of the Human Rights Act, and discrimination on the basis of gender identity and expression. I was also subject to unjust seizures, which not only affected my livelihood, but has severely disrupted the work that my fiancé is doing in their doctorate program, and has the potential to impact whether or not my fiancé finishes their doctorate. Because there is no policy in my city against swatting, there is no guarantee this will not happen again, and my home is not safe. If you are a journalist or someone who works in media and you want to reach out to me for comment, you can reach me at inquiries@keffals.info. I'll leave all additional information and links in the description. I do not yet know when I'm going to be returning to broadcasting on Twitch. When I was woken up by police officers and saw the assault rifle pointed at me, I thought I was going to die. I feel traumatized. I just want everyone to know what happened and to ask for help so I can seek justice for what happened to me.
Yep. Okay. So that is the video in its entirety. I do want to go ahead and also showcase, this is the GoFundMe. I'm going to go ahead and put a link there for anybody who would like to help out with that. Even though Keffals is almost about to reach her goal, it would still be preferable for that to not be it. There's no telling how long and drawn out a legal battle is going to be in a situation like this. And the shit that's being dealt with on top of that isn't just lost equipment, needing to move homes, needing to change locations, needing to fight a legal battle. But there's also the matter of the college. There's also the matter of the PhD thesis that's getting fucked up. There's also the matter of multiple people being affected by this. And there's another bit that's not being talked about a lot that I've seen anyway. A lot of the concern has been directed at Keffals specifically, and that is valid. A lot of that concern should be should be at Keffals. But what this also means is somebody's going to be emboldened by this to do more and worse. Swatting is not a new thing. Streamers deal with the threat of swatting at all times. It's why doxing is such a dangerous thing to do to somebody who is streaming. But to the degenerates, not the good ones in my chat, but the bad ones, the ones who are watching this and think that, hey, that's a thing I want to do to somebody. To those types of people, they know that the likelihood of them actually getting prosecuted when they engage in this crime, and that's what it is very low, if not almost non-existent. It is a crime that can be committed across state lines, digitally, from anyone in any country. And that's what makes it so hard to stop. So maybe this should be a lesson to every single subhuman over on Kiwi Farms that spends every single day trying to pull docs together for multiple people and then spreading them around on other websites. There are real people that get hurt by this. And I know that's the goal. I understand that's the goal. All I'm saying is, would really suck if that happened to you too, wouldn't it? Now, there's also a report that's happened about this that I want to read on top of this. Clara Sorrenti, 28, was arrested August 5th after someone claiming her threatened politicians. London's police chief says he will review how officers treated a popular online transgender activist they arrested at gunpoint last week after someone sent death threats to politicians in the southwestern Ontario city. Clara Sorrenti, who goes by Keffals on Twitch, says that officers came to her apartment on August 5th armed with firearms and called her by her birth name, which she has not used in over a decade. Officers also referred to Sorrenti by the wrong gender, something she says was an attempt to mock her and take away her power and dignity. They said, "We acknowledge the distress this has caused Miss Sorrenti, and we will be reviewing the occurrence to understand how that might have happened. It might have happened because, by and large, the people you hire to become police officers in multiple countries are idiots who want to be on power trips, who have a statistically likely who have a statistical likelihood of beating their wives. It's a power fantasy. Not all cops are bad, but enough of them are to warrant the ACAB statement. Chief Steve Williams said in a statement on Wednesday, a day after Sorrenti told her 42,000 social media followers about the ordeal, that the London Police Service is committed to bias-free policing and treating all individuals with respect and dignity. It's kind of funny to me when that's said. I'm just going to say this right now. It's weird to me when a company or any organization says directly after committing a biased thing, we are against bias. We are against the bad thing, but we do the bad thing. It's a lot like in The Boys when Vought hires an actual neo-Nazi into the firm. Not even a neo-Nazi, a regular old Nazi. Literally grew up in the Third Reich. They knew about it 110%, and then publicly they're just like, we disavow Nazism. We disavow all the bad things. Meanwhile, hired an actual Nazi. Williams was not available for an interview, but he cut his vacation short to deal with the incident, which has caused outrage from the transgender community in Canada and in the United States. Sorrenti believes that she's a victim of swatting, a form of harassment that involves someone calling in a threat, resulting in armed officers being sent to another person's home or work. When something is reported, police have to take it seriously and they need to investigate it, said former London Police Chief Murray Faulkner, who now speaks about policing matters. It's one of those catch-22 situations. If they didn't go and do something, and then something had happened, boy oh boy. Aw, the poor police officers. Aw, they had to throw the SWAT team at Keffals. You don't understand. The poor police, whatever will they do? They just had to do it. And all of the abuse that followed just had to happen. They're just doing their jobs, guys. Even if their jobs are literally abusing people. They just had to. Their hands are tied, you see. The head of the London Police Services Board, which oversees the department, called the incident and use of the wrong gender deeply concerning. The use of the proper name goes to the very dignity and respect that the chief mentions in his statement, said Chair Susan Toth, who is also a human rights lawyer. It's critical that anyone who has any interaction with police is treated with dignity and respect. London police said that they were contacted on August 5th by City Hall officials about violent threats and started an investigation that resulted in Sorrenti being arrested and the seizures of electronic devices. Police had her in custody for 11 hours. 5 days later, on Wednesday, she was able to retrieve those electronics from police headquarters. Sorrenti said that someone using her former name and address sent the threats to London city councillors while also confessing to a murder. Toronto police were also aware of emails being sent to officials in that city on July 31st. Sorrenti was contacted by Toronto officers, and she had said they chalked up the threats to an attempted swatting incident. The Toronto police investigation remains open. Sorrenti and her brother called London police to warn them that she could be targeted by online trolls due to her high-profile social media presence. On Twitch, where people can broadcast themselves playing games, Keffals speaks about American anti-trans legislation and transgender rights. Sorrenti transitioned when she was a teen. She was recently profiled in the Washington Post. Williams said police officers do work closely with the LGBT... That is a lot more than I'm used to saying. We're just going to go with LGBTQ+. Community in London. We acknowledge that despite our best efforts, we may fall short at times, and in those situations we learn, we educate, and we do better. Is ignoring someone when they tell you that there is a threat of them being swatted, and then the SWAT happening, and then seizing all of their electronics, is that an oopsie? That doesn't feel like an oopsie to me. That doesn't feel like doing our best and falling short. That feels a little more fucky than that. But that's that situation there. If you have the ability to go support Keffals, probably a good idea to do so. Again, I find that she is more of a force for good than bad, despite some of the disagreements that I have had with the stuff that she does in her content. I do not think she deserves to be swatted, and I 100% believe that she deserves to be able to say the things that she needs to say on the internet without threat of this happening to her. At least, that's my opinion. Let me know what yours is in the comment section below. If you want to support this channel, hit the like button, subscribe, all that other fun stuff, but past that, insert end of video tagline here.